Welcome to Flying with Tom T, or in this case today, it's more like playing around with cameras with Tom T, but we are back in the hangar. Gigi is sitting over there nicely where she normally is, looking beautiful as ever. But today, I wanted to make this video because I bought a couple of pieces of kit that, first off, really cool, but in putting it all together, I noticed both some sort of engineering failures as well as some really cool ways to put this stuff together, and it's not the way the directions say. So bear with me. I'm going to show you how to put together a Ronin RS2 with a Tilta follow focus towards the end, but there's a bit of a story that I need to cover before we get there. You're flying with Tom T. See you after the intro. All right, we're back. So when I started this little video making project, I know I've only published one video at this point, but we're getting there. I started off with a couple of GoPros with the idea to throw them in the aircraft, buy a cheap, free online editor, and throw some music on it, and voila, I'm going to be a YouTube publisher. Yeah, well, it didn't quite work out that way, and then the project has developed what we refer to in the financial industry as creep. Things got bigger, I bought more, I wanted to do better. The next step, of course, was buying a camera that was going to do this sort of how I get to talk to you. And I went out and bought the Lumix GH5. It's a very, very competent camera, has the ability to produce videos way above my skill level. I'm learning, having a great time with it. But you can't just buy the camera, you need lenses, and you need a rig system, handles, more handles, yet more handles, a battery system to power everything, an external recorder, how about that, a lav mic system, other microphones, and of course to have a nice monitor so that I can actually see myself, you know, doing what I do, because I'm a one-man show here. There's nobody behind the camera right now doing it. I have to do it all remotely here. So I wear all the hats here. I'm from producer all the way down to script boy. And everything went together well. I mean, there was just an infinite way of putting these together. But I also picked up a matte box. Here's the matte box. I might as well just start using this now. So this thing right here, which is, it's a matte box. I mean, you know, its job is to block light out and hold filters. But when I picked it up, I had a problem. And the problem was right down here. Okay, see that? See this thing over here? This allows the whole unit to move up and down. Great. The problem was how I set the camera up initially. The camera was so low that this just couldn't go far enough down to get this nice sort of centered look. And to be perfectly honest, it wasn't really an operational problem unless I had a really wide lens going on in there. But it looked bad. So I had a solution to that problem, and that was to raise the camera up. And I did that with one of these things. It's called a cheese plate. See, cheese plate, because it looks like Swiss cheese. All right, so that gave me the ability to raise the camera up about, I don't know, what is that? 3/8 of an inch, maybe? 5/16, something like that. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to talk in centimeters, I'm Canadian. Half, 3/4 of a centimeter. And it worked perfectly. It brought the camera up just enough so that I could set this and everything was all centered. So one of my latest toys is the Ronin RS2, a set of gimbals. Is it a set of gimbals or a gimbal? Here it is. Oh, new toys. I wanted it not so much for its capability as a set of gimbals so I can walk around and do those really smooth motions and all of that, although that is really great. It is basically also a poor man's motion control system. So using the Ronin would allow me to do a few more interesting shots. So I could do sort of pans in or tilts in, as well as if I'm walking around trying to demonstrate stuff on the aircraft on the outside, you know, to get those really cool shots. And the remote control unit for it with the force motion, allowing you to just move your cell phone like this, and it moves the camera, that is just, I'm sorry, it's the coolest thing I've seen in the last like 6 months. But it also came with a series of these quick release plates in different heights. I think I got 3 of them. And the tallest one happened to be about the same height as the quick release plate I have for my small rig, plus the height of the cheese plate that I had in there for no other reason to raise the camera up. Now I can get the cheese plate out of the system. Not that it was a particular problem, but it was adding weight and getting in the way every once in a while. So, yay! Problem. One of the things that I hate about mounting actual cameras to tripods and rigs and so forth is that the natural assumption is that you're only going to use one compression bolt to hold the camera to the tripod or whatever system you happen to be in. And that's a point of failure, okay, because it will, if you push it hard enough, allow the camera to twist. So it's always better to have 2 or more. Well, with having the cage around the camera on the existing cheese plate, well, allows me to put 2 or more. I'd probably line up a number of bolts. But in any case, it makes it very, very secure. And I noticed on the quick release plates from the Ronin that it had 3 holes. Well, that looks promising. Except they didn't line up with the holes in the bottom of my camera cage. I'm not entirely sure how that happens. I mean, everything else seemed to be really well engineered and everybody thought of something. And then these holes are just at a different spacing. So it's like they naturally assumed, you're only going to use 1 bolt to combine the 2. Furthermore, they give you this little stand and strap to lock your lens down for what is obviously the same reason, just in case the camera starts to move within the rig and then the rig goes crazy and tries to destroy itself. That's something it will do, by the way. But if you had 2 bolts holding in that place, that won't happen, and you don't need that strap. So the solution was break out a drill. And that's exactly what I did. It's just aluminum. All I had to do was buy myself an 1/8 of an inch, 2 mil tops probably. That allowed me to secure the quick release plate with 2 bolts. This is very important for the rest of what I'm going to talk about. When I put all of this stuff together and everything's working fantastic, then it was time to put the autofocus motor on it. And I'm sure the motor itself is an okay piece of kit. So I noticed there was 2 ways to control it. One of which was to actually physically move the control wheel that's on the motor itself. But why would you ever do that? The whole point of having it on a set of gimbals is that you don't touch nothing. So obviously it was designed to be used with the remote control feature on your cell phone or your tablet. Great. And then they give you this as the remote control, this crappy little slider. It's just not accurate enough for good shooting. And to be honest, the GH5 isn't really renowned for its autofocus. So that's what I really wanted to have nailed down. The solution for that is to go and buy a proper full focus system. Introducing, just came in this week, the Tilta Nano. Another excellent piece of kit. It's just a couple of $100. And it's pretty much the state of the art at this level of camera and this level of rig, which was good. Not only that, the instructions are specifically designed to help you mount this thing to the Ronin. I mean, the parts are designed to go together. Fantastic. I thought this was great until I actually looked at the instructions. Remember about that single bolt to hold on the quick release plate to the bottom of the camera? Now they ask you to insert between them the plate that holds the 15 mil bar holder with a single bolt. You've now doubled the chance of having a camera motion failure. And again, you have to rely on that strap. This is not a good plan. Well, we solved it the first time around by putting a second bolt and locking everything down. Strangely enough, there's a better way to mount that bar holder. Check this out. Look at that. I'm amazed they don't even mention it. It fits perfectly, like it was designed to go there. And you can move it a little bit back and forth. This is on my Sigma 1835, which has the focus ring way out the front. And now we'll have a take a look at it with my 85mm, which is a much shorter, it's the sort of half cine version from Ronin. I'm trying to see what these lenses are like too. Either way, it works fine. So now I have a solution that allows me to move my GH5 from my tripod rig over to the Ronin and back and forth with minimum of muss and fuss. Obviously, I've got the Tilta on the Ronin, and I've got my mechanical follow focus on the rig. Everything is great. I also take a few things off of the camera just to lighten it and make sure nothing hits anything. So I take all the handles off. This is important, because when I'm using the Ronin, I'm either using it as a one-person crew, where I'm basically setting it up on its own tripod, programming, and then sitting here in front of the camera and doing fancy stuff. Or I do have friends that will help me out from time to time. So I have effectively a first AC or somebody who can operate the camera, and I'll operate the follow focus and the head control. And it becomes a two-man crew. Check out how well this goes together. You take the cold shoe cell phone holder from the Ronin kit, and then you grab the base that you have to mount the remote wheel for the Tilta follow focus, and I can now mount those to the top handle from my rig system, and look at that. Tell me that wasn't designed to go together. I know it wasn't. And yeah, when you've got something with enough holes on it, the options are endless. But it even fits so well. And now I have effectively a first AC remote console. And check this out. With force motion and follow focus, it's a thing of beauty. Sometimes engineering just works out phenomenally well. So thanks for joining me on my excited little ramble here talking about these two pieces of kit. I've just been having a lot of fun with them for the last week, and I'm just amazed how well all of this goes together. I'm not entirely sure if this qualifies as a tips and tricks on flying with Tom T, but hey, for whatever good it is, if you're trying some of this stuff out, try and rig it up this way, see what you think, and let me know if you have success, or if you run into even better ways of putting this stuff together. I'd love to hear about it. Anyway, thanks for joining me. You're flying with Tom T, or playing with cameras with Tom T. We're in the hangar. We'll see you next time.